Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for checking out my listing here on eBay, and thanks for watching the video. I'm just going to do a quick rundown and kind of explain the differences between the two yo-yos that I sell. These are both made in the USA, made by the same company here in Arkansas, so there's just a few small differences in these two, and we'll start with the, this is what we call a mechanical fisher. We call this the White's Auto Fisher. The mechanical fisher has a stainless steel spring, which is great. It means it's never going to rust. That spring will, you never have to oil it, don't have to do anything. It just simply will not rust. Galvanized steel case and a flat trigger. There's two models of triggers on these, a wire trigger and a flat trigger. You have to specify when you order. When I order them from the manufacturer, I tell them I want the flat trigger. Now, a lot of sellers don't carry the flat trigger model, and I'm telling you, it's a much better trigger. It works better. You have less problems. It's more sensitive, so that's why we carry only the flat trigger on the mechanical fishers. The White's Auto Fisher has a little bit different trigger, which works great also. Only difference is here it doesn't have the stainless steel spring. It's got what's called a tempered steel spring, which is a really strong spring. It's like what they put in clocks, and that spring will last for a long time. I've got White's Auto Fishers that were my dad's that are 35 years old and still work great. We've just oiled them periodically, like after we use them. If we're going to store them for a long time, we'll put a little WD-40 on there, and they work just fine. But they can rust, so if you're in a survival situation and you're not going to have oil, it might be better to go with something like the mechanical fisher. So basically all you do with these, run the string up. Each one comes with a string. You tie it to what you want to hang it from, spool off however much line you need, and set your trigger. Now, you'll have a hook on here and some bait, and when the fish comes along, eats the bait, starts to swim off, next thing you know, boom, he sets this trigger off. Now it's going to reel him in. Sets the hook and reels the fish in. And these will catch big fish. I've caught 20-pound catfish on these, and they'll eventually play them out and wear them out. So it's not just going to yank a big fish right up to the surface and out of the water, but just that constant tension of the spring, it'll wear him out and he'll come up. They're really tough too. I mean, if a 20-pound catfish, if you've ever fought one on rod and reel, they're a fighter. They pull really hard, so if they can't break these, you're going to be good to go for the most part. Now, these both have 60-pound test nylon line, which might not sound like much, but 60-pound test is, that's pretty tough. I've never had a line break on one of these ever, so that's not an issue. But that's basically the gist of the White's Auto Fisher. There's the front and back. I'll set it back over here and go over the mechanical fisher now. I just recently started using the mechanical fisher. I'd always use the Whites, and I gotta tell you, I really, really, really like it. I just always, it was kind of one of those deals, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'd always use the Whites, and it worked great. So we hadn't really tried these, but I gotta tell you, I love the fact that I can leave them out and not worry about the spring rusting, and I really like the trigger on them. The trigger mechanism, I think it might be more sensitive than the Whites a little bit. I'm not sure. They both triggers work really good, but this flat bar trigger, I really like the flat bar. I think it's probably the most sensitive trigger there is. So basically on it, you just pull it out just like we did before, but you push that down in there. Now that's your trigger. And same thing, fish comes along and pulls on it, boom. Now it's got him, it's going to reel him in. Both of these have this feature where there's two trigger settings, a deep notch and a shallow notch. Now the shallow is like a hair trigger, it's kind of like on your revolver. That's once you cock the hammer back and you're on a hair trigger, and this is kind of like if you don't cock the hammer back and you're just squeezing the trigger. So depends on what you're fishing for. You can try either setting. We normally just go with the deep setting when we're fishing for catfish, and if I'm fishing for smaller fish, perch, crappie, stuff like that, I'll go with the shallow setting. So there's the front of it. There's the back of it. And that's the basics of that one. Now there's a few other things that you don't really need to know for the most part, but if you really want to get down to the fine tuning these reels, you can actually adjust the spring tension, and most of you guys will probably figure this out on your own, but I'll go ahead and show you here because it's not in the instructions. If you take this reel and you kind of hold it right here so the line doesn't come out, and then spin the reel like you're spooling line off, get that loop to pop down. Now what you can do is add loops to the spool, and for every loop you add, you're adding tension to that spring. So add a few of those and now that spring gets tighter. You can do the same thing in reverse. If you want less tension, you just take it's just hard to do through the camera, sorry guys. Take some loops off, and now there's less tension on the spring. The reason you would do that if you're fishing for really small fish and you don't want them to get yanked out of the water in a survival situation, if you're only going to be checking these once a day and you're fishing for small perch, you don't want that fish to get yanked all the way out of the water because it would spoil. If you just adjust the tension, that fish will just stay right on the surface of the water and he'll be alive when you get there, no problems at all. So that's something you can play with. And that's pretty much it, guys. I sell these in a lot of different varieties. You know, we sell them by the dozen, 5-packs, 2-packs, and I'll probably have some new listings going up soon. But one thing I wanted to ask y'all to check out is I just got my website going. It's www.HogWilder.Net. You know, that's my eBay username, HogWilder. So if you go to my website, I'll probably put the address down here somewhere so you can see it. If you go there, I sell the reels there, and I'm actually going to be able to sell them for a lot cheaper there. The fees on eBay have gotten really, really high. You know, this is just a part-time thing for me. I'm an ex-military, have a full-time job now, and just kind of do this for extra money. eBay fees have gotten so high that it's getting kind of hard to be competitive price-wise and still make any money. So we're going to start a small website, me and my wife, HogWilder.Net, and you get the same fast shipping. Everything's the same there. You can use PayPal, credit card, whatever you want to do, and it'll just be cheaper. We don't have to deal with the eBay fees. eBay, you know, when it's all said and done, takes about 15%, so I can afford to pass those savings on to you guys. And I think that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. So if y'all have any questions, just shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to answer them. All right, well, thanks a bunch. Y'all have a great one.